What's going on, with the team? Welcome back to another episode of South Stand Signings, the series. Of course, we go through everything happening in and around the world of Leeds United. And we have a little talk about it. And it is the penultimate day of the transfer window. There is just one more day after this for Leeds to make some much needed acquisitions. Because as we saw with that game against Salford the other day, or Salford, whatever you want to call it, a lot of things need to be done. A lot of improvements need to be made, because for me, that is unacceptable. I've never seen such a profligate performance in front of goal. I have never seen such fraudulence at the back, let alone in goal. If you ask me, I think we need another goalkeeper coming through the signings, because Carl Darlow, I said it from day dot, isn't quite cutting it for me. But I digress. Those are not the moves Leeds United are making. Some moves we are making surround other positions, which I believe are quite key. And had we had these players, we might have fared a little bit better. Now, the first story that we are going to cover is a story you guys are very, very familiar with. And because a lot of it happened over the past couple of days, but it has just been confirmed recently. All the paperwork seems to have been finalized for Jed Spence. That is right, Jed Spence is over to Leeds United from Tottenham Hotspur. It's a season-long loan, and there's a little bit more information on the details here. We've paid £1 million loan fee to secure the 23-year-old services, but there is no obligation to make the move permanent. Why is this important for Leeds? Well, because we saw what happened with the Jean-Kevin Augustin situation when we got promoted last time, and he didn't even really feature for us at all. So we didn't want to pay the money. We ended up selling him back to Leipzig, not actually paying them the money. A huge court case ensued. Took about 3 years for that whole court case to reside. So this is a reason why we have tried to wriggle that into the negotiation of it. So that's helpful for Leeds. Hopefully, I think we will sign him anyway. Hopefully, everything goes well. Hopefully, we get promoted, and he can be a vital cog in Leeds' 2024-25 Premier League campaign, but we will have to wait and see on that one. How do you guys feel about Jed Spence? Obviously, it hasn't worked out for him at Tottenham, but he's barely been given any game time at Tottenham, to be fair to you. And when he played for Forest in the Championship, I thought he was phenomenal to it. I thought he was one of their better players. So I think this is a great move for Leeds. I think it's a vital position that we've needed a lot of strengthening in, especially with a departure potentially happening for Leeds United in the same position, which we will get into in just a second. Now, another player Leeds are looking at is, of course, Glenn Kamara, but things seem to be slowing down over the past day or two on that front, and we've been linked for him for so long. Are we going to make the move? Are we not going to make the move? Well, that we need to find out, but as a result of that, Leeds are looking elsewhere, and they're looking elsewhere within the Scottish Football League, and Matt O'Reilly does seem to be the name that Leeds United are looking at. There's been a lot of reports from the Sun surrounding the Danish midfielder's transfer activity as of late. Obviously, Celtic had recently denied a bid from Bologna for him. I'm not sure the exact figure that they've thrown around. I believe it was somewhere around £6 million or so. But Leeds apparently are willing to splash £8 million on him. However, because he has 4 years left on his deal, 3 years left on his deal, sorry, it does seem like Celtic are in quite a strong position and don't want to lose him. Also, will he want to leave the SPFL for the Championship? These are things we are going to have to wait and see. But it is reported that Leeds have a very strong interest in him, and Daniel Farke especially has a very, very, very strong interest in him. And I think this move could really cap off what has been a decent transfer window for Leeds United. Not amazing so far, but for me, decent. You know, if we look at the names that have come in, Ethan Ampadu, Carl Darlow, shit, okay, we'll go high to low. Ethan Ampadu, amazing. Carl Darlow, tragic. Sam Byram, decent. Pretty decent. Joe Roden, not the best. Maybe he changes it. Maybe he doesn't. You know, I'm not going to go, too crazy too early. Not the best. Joel Perreault could be a great signing. Jed Spence, not phenomenal. Fantastic. Great signing. So, a couple more signings. You know, like I said, another centre-half, a central midfielder. And I think this could be a phenomenal signing, regarding that we do keep those players that we have spoken about for the past few days. Now, one guy who's actually been linked with an exit somehow after having one good performance against Ipswich, followed up by a not too impressive performance against Salford, is Georginio Rutter, who has been linked with various clubs. He's been linked with a move back to Hoffenheim. He's been linked with various moves around the Bundesliga. Even Lyon recently surprisingly linked with him. Although they're going to have to cough up a lot of cash, because it doesn't look like they are willing to spend any more than 25 odd million, despite the fact that we spent 35.5 million on him ourselves. So I don't see this move really happening, or any move for Rutter, but it is interesting that his name is being thrown around in a lot of the headlines recently, because we haven't really heard anything surrounding Georginio Rutter the entire transfer window. So for me, again, it's a player that I think we will keep hold of. And, you know, striker should be sorted for Leeds United. But midfield, on the other hand, is not sorted for Leeds United, which is why the next story is surrounding, of course, another midfielder. It is a position Leeds are very, very keen to get a hold of, because, actually, very interestingly, I looked at the 3 players that were apparently on the chopping block for Daniel Farke that he didn't have in their plans. One of them was Cody Drameh. We'll get into that in a second. One of them was Darko Gyabi, who hasn't really been given a crack at all. I don't know what he's doing in training. I don't know if he's not part of Farke's tactics, you know, the way he likes to play. I'm not sure, because every time I'd seen Gyabi, at least when he's played for the first team, I thought he'd been actually quite impressive and looked quite composed on the ball. He's a good ball carrier. And I would have liked to see him get an opportunity in the Championship, where it's a lower level of opposition, and he would have been able to thrive, I thought. But apparently not the case. But alas, Leeds are looking elsewhere, and one of those guys is Ilia Gruev, the Werder Bremen midfielder, who apparently has been spotted speeding away from Werder Bremen's stadium amidst interest from Leeds United. And it was reported by Deutsche Stauber, who took a photograph of the Bulgarian international, claiming that he was on his way out. And he was gone. Florian Pettenberg has tweeted quite a lot recently, or reported quite a lot recently, that Leeds are one of the key sides interested. However, a deal is yet to be finalised for the 23-year-old midfielder. A lot more news coming over that in the coming day, I'm sure. I am absolutely certain of it. Now, one or two players, should I say, that Leeds hope there isn't a lot of news or information coming out from within the coming days, is, of course, Wilfried Nonto and Louis Sinisterra. Woo! I hope we can keep those two, because let me tell you something, if we can, we'll have an amazing season. Cini, too good. Nonto, phenomenal. The Championship won't be able to deal with those two players, let me tell you. Sorry about that. Sorry about that yawn. It is 5 a.m. I have just woken up to record this as we speak. But, yes, I do feel like if we can keep those, and of course, Sourceville, I digress. But apparently, this story goes on to say that Everton are apparently looking to go in for Sinisterra now, because it does seem like Nonto is not going to be a possibility, and it does seem like we have a little bit more power over keeping Wilfried Nonto than we do Sinisterra. So apparently they're readying a move for Sinisterra, but how many more wings do they need, you know? Got Dan Juma, Jack Harrison already. Do you really need a Sinisterra or a Nonto? Hopefully not enough to force them to cough up big cash to the point where Leeds are willing to sell. Now, Leeds do, whilst we don't need to be selling players, we do need to be signing them. Another midfielder Leeds have been thinking about signing is A.O. Tanaka. We spoke a little bit about him the other day. And apparently there was plenty of confusion surrounding Leeds pulling out of the deal to sign Tanaka. This article delves a little bit into potential reasons why. Now, some people were claiming it was due to injuries going on with him. However, he has snapped back, confirming that he is injury-free. He says in a very short quote, "I am healthy. I'm healthy. There's no problems with me. I'm not fit." And apparently, according to Sky Sports Germany, who reported this late last night, Leeds looked at the player. We looked at Tanaka, and we decided he didn't have the qualities that we were after. He did not have the desired qualities. So that does seem to be the driving factor of it. And if that's the case, I'm happy Leeds at least evaluated those kind of things. Now, speaking of evaluating things about players, it didn't take long for Fark to evaluate that Cody Drameh did not seem to be his kind of player, hooking him after 21 minutes of football against Ipswich after bringing him on only just recently in the game. And according to Dean Jones, it does seem like the writing is on the wall for Cody Drameh, and that he does expect Cody Drameh to depart Leeds on a permanent basis now that Jed Spence has been brought in to allow him to go. And I'm gutted with this one. I really don't think he's been given enough of a crack, especially in his natural right back position. He was given a 20-minute spell off the bench. Always hard to adapt to the pace of the game coming on early in the first half like that, especially coming on at left back when you're a natural right back. I thought it was very harsh the way everything happened to him, although he did have a pretty poor game. But I'm sad. I just don't think he's been given a lot of an opportunity at Leeds at all over the past couple of years since we signed him, really. And I think that's a big shame. I think it's a really big shame for Leeds. But it does seem like he is going to be gone. And finally, the last player that Leeds United are set to lose is Sam Greenwood, who apparently is not in Daniel Farke's plans at all. However, I still think we could use him as a backup player, good on set pieces. Bring him in the last 15 minutes of the game. Maybe he can take a few corners, a few free kicks, hopefully steal something for you. I think it's something that we should be looking to keep. But hey-ho, we will have to see how everything goes on that one. But let me know what you guys think about all of this down in the comment section down below. But for now, guys, I will see you very, very soon. Au revoir, my brothers and my sisters.